Hey, what's up everyone? It's JR again from Holy Faith TV. I wanted to come on today and talk about the corruption that's been exposed in the DNC and in specifically what happened in the Hillary Clinton campaign. So it came out in Donna Brazil's new book where she openly admits that the DNC actively coordinated with the Clinton campaign in order to rig the primaries against Bernie Sanders, and who knows what else they rigged. So Brazil has already come out and she admits that while working for CNN, she gave away some of the debate questions against Donald Trump to Hillary Clinton ahead of time. So people laughed at the time when they said that, when Donald Trump was saying that the election process in the United States was rigged. He kept using that term, rigged. Now, maybe he was doing it to try to get votes. Maybe he was doing it as part of his strategy, which is quite possible because he caught on to something. He knew that people were fed up with politicians, and one of the key central parts to his message during the campaign in 2016 was that he's not a politician. So, but he did keep saying rigged. He used the term rigged over and over and over. But it appears now that maybe Trump wasn't so crazy after all. Maybe he wasn't even completely wrong. Maybe he was actually a lot right. Because it came out that, in fact, the primary against Bernie Sanders, who thankfully didn't win because obviously I don't support Bernie Sanders' positions, but regardless, Bernie Sanders didn't have a chance against Hillary Clinton. And the fact that he was able to give her as much of a go as he did in the primaries shows, I think it's quite possible that Sanders actually would have won, because not only on the Republican side did you see an anti-establishment movement, but it was also occurring on the Democratic side as well. Now the problem and the uphill battle that the DNC faces going into the 2020 election and even into the midterms in 2018, the biggest problem that they face is that, unfortunately for them, the face of the party continues to be the same old actors. And those same people, 1 year later, are now involved in such a scandal that maybe the mainstream media is not going to report it, but most people know, the word is getting out, especially through the power of social media, that the Democratic Party rigged the campaign, and now 1 year later they're still dealing with, and arguably it's even larger than it ever has been, they're dealing with the fallout from this corruption that occurred with the Clinton campaign and with the DNC. And I think, unfortunately, they're toast going into 2018 in the midterms, and they're really, really going to have a hard time winning this 2020 election, because people aren't going to forget that easily. I mean, we're roughly only maybe 2 years away from the next campaign, where candidates are now going to be going up against President Trump, and he'll seek re-election. I think he's easily going to win it at this point. We haven't seen one new thing come out of the Democratic National Committee campaign since Trump got elected. We've just seen the same old things being said. At least with Sanders had a different message. But with Clinton, it was the same old message, and unfortunately they doubled down on the same tone that they were using against Trump supporters. And in my opinion, my estimation, that's one of the reasons he won. So they're going to have a major uphill battle in front of them, because they have at this point, they have no new fresh faces. They have nobody that's not associated with Clinton that is ready to step up and take a role of leadership. And unless they get a candidate that comes out of the blue, I think that they're totally done for this 2020 election. And I know that it's only 2017, and it's only been 1 year since the election of the president in the United States, but everything that we've seen in the individual states for Senate, the same thing has been the result. It's been Republicans just gaining more and more ground, and it's going to be really tough at this point for Democrats in general to get elected. Forget about the presidency. Let's start talking about even seats in the Senate. So it's going to be very tough, because now that this corruption is coming out and it's at the forefront and it's in the mainstream, the Democrats really have an uphill battle in front of them, and they need to really change the face of this party. What they should have done is they should have came out of the gate and said, okay, Clinton's campaign didn't work. It's not registering with people. We had key segments of the population that didn't come out and vote. She, as far as I'm concerned, she lost on women, because the fact that Trump was as close with women in the vote, the gap was as narrow as it was. Naturally, as a woman running against a man, she should have naturally had the upper hand and the advantage, but it really wasn't as far apart as you were led to believe that it would be, the vote. So what's the DNC going to do? They need to completely remake themselves, and they need to get a fresh message, because independents at this point, they're not buying the rhetoric that's coming out of the DNC, as far as I'm concerned. And I'm trying to judge this as honestly as I can. So that's all for now.